with Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio, and welcome back to another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. We're on a Whirlpool washing machine that has a no-fill condition. So the first thing that we did was make sure that the water valves are open and try to fill it and switch through. It will fill on the hot but not the cold. Okay, the tools we use for this diagnosis is a volt ohm meter or multimeter, just some adjustable channel locks for the water valves, common Phillips screwdriver. I use a tack puller to remove the cabinet, and a needle nose for the water clamp, and just a combination wrench or a 1/4 inch drive for the mounting bolt for the water valve. We're now going to go and check the water valve, and we're going to start by removing the back bolts on that hold the control panel on. With the control panel back, take off the lid switch connector and remove the connectors, and tilt the entire cabinet off and away. We can get right at the water valve right back here. I'm turning off the water valves, and we're going to drain any water that's left on the hot side, and we're going to remove the water lines in the back. Okay, so since our cold water valve wasn't filling, the first thing we're going to do is ohm out the cold water valve coil. So I have my meter set on ohms, and if we go across the coil, you can see that it's infinitely open, and that's why it's not working. I'm just going to show you the difference of the hot water valve and the reading of a good one. That is a good reading. One other check that we can do is put our meter to volts, it on the cold water valve connector, and just make sure that we're getting the proper voltage to the unit. So we have our all our controls set to fill. When we go to fill, we do have 120 volts there, so we know that the timer's giving it good power and that the cold water valve coil is open. So we're going to now replace the entire water valve assembly. Alright, so we already have our connectors removed. We're also going to remove the thermistor connector. Okay, we're going to take our clamp off our water inlet line and just bring it down and twist to remove our water line. Sometimes little water will come out. And then there's one more bolt on the back, a 1/4 inch bolt that we'll remove to remove the entire assembly. Right now, we can now remove our water valve assembly. Alright, we have our new water valve, so we are going to put that in its proper spot, line up the mounting hole in the back, attach our mounting bolt, tighten that down. We will put our water line back on, get that guy fully seated, get our clamp in place. Now we'll hook up our thermistor wire and our hot and cold connectors. Now we're going to put the cover back on, hook up our water lines, and give it a test. When we go to put our cabinet back on, there are some guide pins in the front and back that will line up with guides on the cabinet to get it properly installed. We'll also make sure that the back lines up with this guide area to make sure that it's properly installed. So now we're going to hook up our water lines, and we'll get the hot one on hand tight and then give it another little turn with our wrench. It is a plastic thread, so you don't need to kill it. Check for leaks later if we need to tighten it just a little bit more. And now we will put on our cold water line, get it hand tight, and give it another tighten with our wrench. And now we'll turn the water valves back on and check for any leaks. Our leak check is good, so we will put our cabinet back on. And what we'll do is line up the bottom first. Get it into position. And you can check on the back to make sure that the back panel is on. You'll feel it if it's not in there. Now we will reinstall our clips. Hook our lid switch back up. Close our cover and line up the guide pins. Get that seated into place. Tighten up our mounting bolts in the back. We'll plug our unit back in. Put our drain hose back and put it on cold. Watch it fill. Continue to check for leaks. And we'll run it through all of its cycles to clear any water, and also make sure that the hot valve works, which it all does. Our next step is to put it back into place, make sure it is balanced, and we're all set. Thank you for watching another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.